Hello, my friends. Katie here from Porch Nurse. If we have not met yet, hello. I'm a registered nurse with a PhD in nursing. I've been practicing nursing for over 2 decades, and I want to briefly talk about lab values. You know, hopefully you go to your physical once a year and you get an order to get labs done by your provider. And so you go get your blood drawn, maybe you pee in a cup and get all these numbers back. Hopefully, you get your own lab results as well as your provider getting those results. If you don't, you can usually sign up with the lab company for an account in their online portal, and then you get the results also. You can also just ask your provider for a copy. Um, I like to do stuff digitally as much as possible. Okay, so labs. You get your labs back and they're all, quote, normal. You feel like hell. And you can't think of anything else that has changed. Nothing major is happening. All of a sudden you just feel like crap. Your provider really doesn't have anything to offer. So when labs are looked at, the ranges that usually you get your lab result, right? And then you look over and there's like, it says normal range. Okay, I just find this really interesting. The normal range is based on population averages. I don't know about you, but have you looked at the population lately? Like, they don't look super healthy. That's what our normal lab values are based on. Remember the average curve? That's what they're based on. Everybody's numbers in there, and just take the average. Okay, that doesn't seem like that great of an idea, but that's what it is. So even though you might be feeling terrible and your labs might say you're normal, that could or could not be the case for you. Maybe you are a sensitive soul and your vitamin D levels are at the low end of the quote normal range. Maybe for you, that's not enough. The other thing that's interesting about these lab values being just averages is men and women are included in the same numbers. Well, I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but our bodies are a little bit different. Hmm. Just so you know, also, this is mainstream medicine. So, like, if you choose to go to a functional medicine provider, they look at things a little bit differently and they have different normal lab value ranges. They're not like opposite or anything, but they're tighter and they have different value ranges for men and women. If you're curious about that, just do an internet search, functional lab values, and you'll see that they're posted online all over. Now, none of these lab values, whether it's mainstream medicine or functional medicine, none of them are going to be exactly the same. Even lab company to lab company, the ranges they use vary just a little bit. And I mean, that just is. This is not exact. So if you get your labs done, you still feel terrible, maybe you see that a couple of your labs are at like the very end of the quote normal range, you might want to get more attention paid to that. Um, if it's something you can do yourself, if you can just take a vitamin D supplement, for example, that's super cheap. It's not going to hurt you to take a supplement. Like, don't go crazy and take a ton, just whatever's recommended, right? Ask your provider, hey, this seems a little bit low, even though it's on the normal. Can I take a vitamin D supplement? What else? The other thing is in midlife, obviously, we have a lot of changes going on in our body as women. So You might get the same results that you've had in previous years in your labs, but maybe you just don't feel good. Pay attention to that, pursue that, ask questions. And what else do I want to say about that? That's it. Just know that it's not an exact science in terms of what your lab numbers are supposed to be. The way that you feel is really important and you should pay attention to it. And you should ask for help. I know asking for help sucks. We usually just take care of everything ourselves, but we need to ask sometimes. It is time. Okay, for more informative and interesting videos, please subscribe, like, share, join my email list. I feel like such a dork saying this stuff. You guys know, but join me here. Let's hang together. Okay, thanks.